Okie dokie, let's get this video rolling. So, how I made my first million in my 20s. That is a juicy title, right? That is a juicy title. And it's funny because I think one of the toughest questions I get is, what do I do for a living? What do you do for a living? I do get asked that question. I think a lot of people obviously get asked that question. And it's one of the questions which I find most difficult to answer because I don't know how to answer it. I don't really know what it is, what I can say, because the simplest way to put it is that I make stuff on the internet. But then what do I specifically make? I make a mix of stuff, right? So yeah, that's just me going on a rant, basically, just trying to figure out what it is I actually do. But yeah, anyway, if you guys didn't already know, I do have a newsletter. Make sure to check it out. I share sort of insight stories and links to cool things that I find interesting. I leave a link to it down in the description below. You guys seem to like my newsletter. Like, the open rate for it is insane. It's one of the highest I've ever seen for a newsletter. So yeah, I'm pretty proud of my newsletter. If you're interested in it, sign up to it. Link in the description below. So yeah, how I made my first million in my 20s. Got some notes here. Make sure I cover everything. So I've been dabbling with the internet, with websites and design and things like that since 2010. I feel like I was interested in it even before that, but 2010 was when I really started sort of having my own PC, having my computer and messing around with stuff like that. Between 2010 and 2013, I just spent a lot of time learning. I was learning basically as much as I possibly could about making websites, about building internet businesses, things like that. Some of the things I learned included UI and UX design. So, you know, how to design websites, how to design apps, and make things that looked great, but also were functional. HTML and CSS, I learned some basic coding skills so that I could actually just make my own websites, modify my own websites, and just have a good understanding of code and e-commerce. So learning how to sell things online, specifically how to sort of sell digital products and physical products, how to set up the website, to do all that sort of stuff, because I think a lot of people, especially back then, e-commerce, it was a thing, of course, but now it's even more important than ever. So I think I got pretty lucky learning about e-commerce. I also had a blog, theultralinks.com, where I would share cool things that I found interesting, like products and wallpapers and images and things like that. Just anything that I personally liked, I shared on that blog. And then after I had spent those years learning and applying those skills in various different ways, I knew it was time to get serious. I knew that I actually needed to start making money. So in 2014, I started getting serious. I started actually getting serious about making money. I was 21 at the time, and realizing that I needed to start making some money rather than just sort of faffing around and messing around with stuff on the computer. I knew that this is what I enjoyed, and there's got to be a way for me to make money from it. So I set up my businesses and I went all in. I went in the deep end. I didn't know if it would work out. I didn't know what was going to happen. I just went all in and I thought, okay, let's just do it. You know, now or never. I'm young. I'm at a good age where I can do it. Living at my parents, so my costs are low. I was paying rent to my parents, of course, but my living costs were low. And yeah, I started doing things like designing and building websites for clients. I was running my blog, theultralinks.com, making money from advertising. And then I was also selling digital assets like Tumblr themes. So I've discussed a few of these before in other videos, but I know a lot of you are new to the channel, and obviously this is a new video. Returning viewers, you may have heard this stuff before, but I want to make sure that my new viewers also know about it. So 2014 was the year that my Tumblr themes business really blew up. Tumblr back then was very popular. A lot of people were using it. Businesses especially. Businesses had their own presence on Tumblr. It was like the platform, sort of like how Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, you know, these are the current platforms. Back then, Tumblr was one of those platforms where everyone used Tumblr, everyone liked Tumblr. It was like having your own sort of corner of the internet, you could say, because it was sort of a social media website, but it was also a website at the same time. It was pretty cool. And you could have your own sort of templates, website looks and themes and stuff like that. And I had my own Tumblr blog and I thought, hey, you know, I want to customize it. I want to make it look the way I want it to look. So I started making Tumblr themes. I made a collection of Tumblr themes for all types of blogs using the skills that I had learned, like UI design, HTML and CSS. And Tumblr themes were very easy to make. They still are easy to make. They're one of the simplest sort of products that you can make right now, because the way Tumblr has been built and the way they've built it, it's quite simple for anyone to understand. It's quite simple for anyone to get a grasp of. And yeah, once I put those themes up for sale, since then, so since 2014 to now, those themes have generated over $690,000. And that's after Tumblr's cut. That's after Tumblr's fee, stuff like that. That's actually my cut. That's the money I get, which is pretty incredible. I'm not going to lie. Like, I got very, I don't want to say I got lucky because it didn't just land in my lap, but I sort of chose the right product at the right time, you could say. And it really helped me build financial stability in my life. Obviously, I was 21, 22 at the time. I think in the first year, I made anywhere between $250,000 to $300,000, which for a 21, 22-year-old is an insane amount of money. I don't care what anyone says. You know, for me at the time, that was ridiculous. Thankfully, I didn't go out and buy a Lambo. I didn't go out spending my money like crazy. I was sensible because I realized that this isn't going to be forever. So I saved as much money as I could and used it for the down payment on this very house that I'm living in right now. And then I just saved the rest of it, put it in my bank account, put it into investments, put it into building other businesses. My blog, theultralinks.com, between 2014 to 2016 was generating around $5,000 a month. It would vary. Sometimes it was more, sometimes it was less. But that was an additional $60,000 a year. And it also had very minimal costs. The only thing that website cost me was my own time, because obviously it took time to post content, to find content, but I was already browsing the internet. I was already looking for things I was interested in. I was just sharing them on a blog. So I enjoyed it. It wasn't, I mean, $60,000 a year, still good money, but obviously it's nowhere near as much money as my Tumblr themes were, but I did it because I enjoyed it. That's why I did it at the time. I don't actually run that blog much anymore. I haven't posted on it for like a year, maybe longer, something like that. Mainly because I've realized my time is better spent doing other things and making videos like these YouTube videos. I actually enjoy making YouTube videos more now, running my own newsletter, running ulxstore.com, just doing all that sort of stuff. I enjoy that more than posting on the blog. I had also been taking on client work, building websites, mainly for small businesses. I would build a few websites a year. I would charge anywhere between £2,000 to £10,000, depending on the complexity. Some of them were simple blogs, some of them were just business websites, things like that. Nothing too crazy, but you know, sort of later on, I think this was around 2017, 2018, I actually landed one of my biggest projects. This project had a budget of $200,000, which I just thought was insane, but it made sense because it was a very, very large project. And it was spread out over a year. And it was a very incredible experience because it was for a big company. It was for $1 billion company. I wish I could say which company it was, but obviously these companies that always make you sign NDAs and stuff, so I can't share specifically which company it was. But yeah, $1 billion company, and they had a big budget for, it wasn't their main website, it was actually part of their website, which again, because they're so big, they have all these different websites, they have all these different sections of their websites. That was an incredible experience because I got to work with a huge team. I got to understand how a big company worked, and they just trusted my opinion on everything design. You know, when it came to getting invoices paid and stuff like that, they were always on time, which I always found so interesting. From my experience, I found that big companies, they're more than happy just to chuck money, throw money at something and get it done. Smaller businesses, obviously, because it's a small business, it's usually one or two people that own that business, they're more reluctant to just go out and spend, you know, a couple of £1,000s because that's their hard-earned money. I can completely understand that. It's hard for them to spend that money because they want to get the most out of it. So yeah, I learned a lot doing website design, doing client work, stuff like that. But when I add it all up, I think by 2017, 2018, I had made my first million. I was 24, 25 at the time when this happened. And it's crazy because as a teenager, I never thought in a million years that I would have that much money. I never thought I would make that sort of money. I remember when I was a teenager, I thought it would just be amazing making 20 to 30,000 a year. I thought, to me, if I make that money, I'll be set. I'll be happy. But now I make more than that in a month. I make more than that in a month, and it just blows my mind. It absolutely blows my mind how I'm in such a great position right now in my life. And I'm very fortunate to be in that position. I think it's a mix of hard work and getting lucky. A lot of people don't like to use the word lucky, but I do firmly believe in the fact that you can sort of create your own luck, because all of this sort of stuff didn't just land in my lap. It didn't just happen. I did the work, I put time in, and I sort of just put myself in the right place at the right time, and I learned the right skills. Now, I don't know what the right skill is now. I don't know what the right thing is now. I don't know what the future is. No one can really know. So that's where I think luck plays a role. I think that anything related with technology or the internet is just a good way to get lucky, you could say, a good way to start a business. I think it's one of the best places to make money. Obviously, some of the biggest companies in the world are just completely internet based. They have their own websites and apps and things like that. So I think anything to do with tech right now is a good way to make money. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Like I said, subscribe to my newsletter. I'll leave a link to it down in the description below. Just a quick story on how I made my first million. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter, and subscribe for more.